June 25th, 2024 was quite the tricky day to track and chase thunderstorms. Similar to the previous day we covered on First Coast Storm Tracking, our thunderstorm action really didn't occur until after dark. Thunderstorms did occur throughout much of the First Coast region during the afternoon, however, it felt almost as if they were going around us. That was until sunset came, where massive thunderstorms brought flooding rainfall and a lot of lightning. But before we get to that, let's set the stage by looking at what conditions helped contribute to the storminess we saw on June 25th, 2024. There were multiple atmospheric factors in play on June 25th that led to the storms we saw. According to the National Weather Service Jacksonville area forecast discussion for the day, the region was between a ridge of high pressure to our east, along with a trough of low pressure to our north-northwest. This trough would be the primary factor that helped guide our steering flow for the day, resulting in a more dominant Gulf Coast sea breeze. Temperatures would also once again reach heat advisory criteria area-wide, ranging from 108 to 112 degrees. Locally, peak heat indices reached an estimated 131 degrees according to my backyard weather station. I thought this seemed off, and our station is located close to a pond, so it is possible that the dew point value was skewed. So just to be safe, I checked out another station in the neighborhood and saw that they also recorded a very similar temperature reading of 131.7 degrees. Dew points this high tend to cause the feels-like temperatures to produce some slightly crazy results, so take this with a pinch of salt. Extremely strong daytime heating in a moisture-rich environment with precipitable water values reaching upwards of 2.3 combined to create a very unstable atmosphere. Surface-based CAPE values would rise in excess of 4,000 joules per kilogram during peak heating hours, with mixed-layer CAPE in excess of 3,000, which would support the continued vertical growth of thunderstorms. This intense heating would last well into the evening and nighttime hours, which is crucial to our story today. Per the AFD, thunderstorms were expected to blossom throughout the daytime hours as convective temperatures were realized. Both sea breezes would push inland, with the Gulf Coast sea breeze moving further due to the dominant southwesterly flow. With aforementioned convective temperatures occurring early in the day, thunderstorms would also start fairly early, popping up along mesoscale boundaries and the sea breezes. Primary threats from these thunderstorms would be downburst winds between 40 to 50 miles per hour, along with locally heavy downpours that could lead to flooding. One of those would cause me quite the problem later on, so stay tuned for that. Scattered showers and storms began to pop up first in the southwestern portions of our viewing area near Gainesville. Between noon and 1:30, the heaviest of the storms stayed west of Interstate 75, mainly affecting areas such as Chiefland. Showers would begin to ignite ahead of the Atlantic sea breeze towards 1 p.m., affecting parts of Clay, Duval, and Nassau counties. By 1:55 p.m., the first special weather statement of the day would be issued for a storm over Gainesville. These storms would continue to develop, gaining a second special weather statement. By 2:30, another special weather statement was issued for a storm on the Duval-Nassau County border. This just goes to show that the storms were pretty feisty today, with many of them becoming strong and very quickly. Thunderstorms continued to develop around the viewing area as both sea breezes pressed inland. Outflow boundaries from earlier thunderstorms in Duval County began to push west, while outflow from the Gainesville thunderstorm began to push, along with the Gulf Coast sea breeze, towards Highway 301 near Hampton. These boundaries would collide around 3:30 p.m., prompting a thunderstorm to flare up quickly to our southwest. At 3:43 p.m., the storm got a special weather statement on it. I decided to head down to the local fields to try and get lightning footage, but unfortunately did not have great luck. If we look at the radar, it's pretty easy to see why though. Despite heavy rainfall occurring to our south, the taller thunderstorms, i.e. the ones with more lightning, had quickly shifted far to the south of Green Cove Springs. See thunder. I just saw lightning. Okay, there we go. Easy enough. I don't know if we're going to get thunderstorms directly over us again today. It looks like a lot of them are starting to form a little bit more to our south. But, yeah, no, it's looking pretty healthy. Multiple storm cells. A lot of lightning in one south of Green Cove Springs, but I don't think we'll be able to see that from here. I mean, over there, it's hard to see. That just looks like a black wall, but there's that storm cloud over there. That's a very well-defined storm cloud. By 4:30 p.m., the heaviest of the showers and storms were beginning to work their way out to the southeast near Putnam and St. Johns County. The two sea breezes collided, along with some stray outflow from other storms, around 4:30 near the St. Johns River Basin. Surprisingly, the result was not very explosive. This is likely due to temporary atmospheric cooling in the wake of previous thunderstorms. The breezes and outflow would begin to combine and accelerate to the northwest out of Florida through 6 p.m. A few showers would attempt to form around this area of convergence, but none would have success until they reached the Florida-Georgia border. These storms near the border would slowly drift southward over the next 2 hours, not becoming particularly strong. By 8 p.m., the storms had drifted south of Interstate 10 and had weakened significantly. It looked as if this would be the end of thunderstorms for the day, but that could not be further from the truth. Just as the last remaining shower from the border storms was drifting into Clay County, an explosion of storm development occurred. Over the course of the next 25 minutes, this little rain shower exploded into a huge thunderstorm, and additional storms began to develop along the St. Johns River. For the second night in a row, we were about to see an intense thunderstorm right at home, and it was quite the interesting thunderstorm at that, bringing two primary hazards, those being frequent cloud-to-ground lightning and torrential rainfall. We'll talk more about the rainfall totals toward the end of this video, but just know that this complex of thunderstorms prompted 3 different flood advisories over the course of an hour and a half. Our part of the story really began around 9 p.m. as the broken line of storms began to drift closer to our home. Initially, we decided not to go out to try and chase the storms or to try and get a better angle. This was mainly due to me thinking that the storms were going to roll overhead with a lot of lightning, but that's not actually what ended up happening. The first storm that was going to impact us was given a special weather statement at 8:47 p.m. Then, as the rest of the storms began to strengthen, the entire line was given a special weather statement at 9:22 p.m. Notice how the line overall had not moved much further south in the 35 minutes when compared to the last SBS graphic. All of that is to say that the storms were moving a lot slower than I expected. As you will come to see as we move throughout this section, pockets of intense thunderstorm activity would blow up and then drift around multiple times this evening. This made for quite the tricky time tracking and eventually chasing storms. But with all of that out of the way, let's see how the storm looked approaching home that evening. Oh, wow. There was just a big strike to the north. Uh-oh. I think it might be time to move inside. Oh, yeah! I think I got one that time. Nice. It was far off that way. That means it's getting closer if we can actually see the bolts now. I don't know how this is going to be compared to last night's storm, but I don't know, dude. This is looking pretty nasty already. Like, just in the sheer amount of lightning it seems to be putting off. I'm not seeing as many strikes, but there's obviously a lot more lightning going on. Near constant flashes of lightning would be one of the big draws of the storm that evening. Admittedly, we saw a lot less cloud-to-ground lightning than the previous night, but I think that's mainly due to us not being able to get a good viewing angle to the north from our home. Between not being able to see the strikes that I knew were happening and constantly hearing the thunder, I was itching to see some action. So towards 10 p.m., I decided to go out for a drive. My partner would not be coming with me this time as he had work in the morning. I only bring that up because, as you will see, my camera work was not the best on that drive. Now, you might be thinking, going for a storm chase at 10 at night with heavy thunderstorms around, that sounds kinda dangerous, right? And yes, it is, and I would not advise doing it. However, there was a method to my madness. By 10 p.m., the storm I anticipated to be pretty big over our home had begun to weaken, with the higher cloud tops drifting eastward towards the St. Johns River. The main storm of interest at the time was this one, which was given the night's only severe thunderstorm warning at 9:54 p.m. A dangerous prospect, but I couldn't resist such an intense nighttime thunderstorm. I had two options in terms of driving: try and go directly east to Fleming Island and record from the pier on 17, or I could go to a different pier in Green Cove Springs, which was further south. The idea was to try and get lightning shots down near the water, but unfortunately, neither of those two options came to fruition as I quickly began to run into problems on the road. Alright, y'all. I'm about to do something just a little bit risky, and I'm going to go chasing a severe storm down near the river. It's kind of just one of those times. I feel it. I got to do this. Not gonna lie, probably should have went down to the river earlier if I was going to do this, but I had no clue the storm was going to become severe. I didn't even think it was going to storm again tonight, to be honest with you. Jeez, the camera is like really fighting me. So, the storm is moving pretty slow. I'm not going to go to the Fleming Island Marina. The plan is to go to one in Green Cove Springs. I'm going to get there, hopefully record for a few minutes, maybe get a few strikes, see if the wind picks up, and then I'm dipping to the west as fast as humanly possible. I hope I make it. We'll see. Might be some water piled up here, to be very careful. Yeah, there we Still probably a good half dozen more road bumps. This is just like non-stop. This is brutal. And I think I can say with confidence now this is absolutely worse than last night's storm. Dude, I don't know. If the roads are like this for too much longer, I might have to just turn around. This is a lot more hairy than I expected. Oh my god. I didn't think it's been raining that hard. Oh wow. Alright. I need to like find a place to stop for a moment, take a look. It actually looks like just peeking at the radar. Ooh, Jesus. Please let me get off this part of the road. Why do they have to come and tear it up with construction? Still hitting every road bump. It has water accumulated around it. Yeah, I'm definitely not taking this way home. I will drive a different way if I have to. Dude, I can't even see like the middle of the road. Coming up to a subdivision I could park at. I'm gonna park and I'm gonna check the radar and evaluate my choices here. See if it's really worth doing this. Because the more I think about it, dude, if it's this heavy, I don't think I'm gonna be able to see lightning strikes. While I was aware of the severe thunderstorm warning at the time I left home, I was not aware of the flood advisory for eastern Clay County, which was issued also before I left home. You see, flood advisories are not considered to be issued at severe limits like a flash flood warning, meaning they wouldn't come through on my phone as an emergency message or display in radar scope. If I would have known just how much rain had fallen already in that area and how much more was getting ready to fall, I likely would have just stayed at home completely. After taking a moment to stop and look at the radar, I began to feel more uneasy about chasing this severe storm. I continued to drive down Sandridge Road, only for it to become increasingly flooded as I went on. Before continuing towards Green Cove Springs, I decided it would be best to turn around and begin to work my way home. Um, I don't think I can make it to Green Cove. I might be able to get to Fleming though. So, I love this, this camera. We'll try that, I guess. I don't know. This is, pretty scary weather. Nice shot, camera. Alright, dude, you know what? The more I think on this, I don't think this is worth it. Oh my god, the roads are like just flooded. Yeah, no, dude. I don't think this is worth it. I can go for a little longer, see if maybe this part of Russell is better. I don't know, man. Something just doesn't feel right about this. Yeah, that too. You know what? Yeah, I'm turning around. I'll take a different way home, so I don't have to drive on that road again. But yeah, I'm gonna head home. Something really, I don't know, just don't feel right. This is a little too hairy for my liking. Should have been there sooner. That's on me. But I mean, this is still quite the amazing storm, regardless. Even if I don't see many strikes, just the near constant lightning for an hour is pretty impressive, to say the least. Unfortunately, working my way back home was not exactly in the cards at that moment. The rain continued to intensify to the point where I needed to pull off into another neighborhood and wait for things to calm down. Yeah, might be getting into a bit of a doozy. I don't like what that was. Dude, I could barely see like 5 feet ahead of me. Hold on, I'm slowing down. Alright. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna have to stop for a few minutes and just kind of let this ride out. This doesn't feel like a good idea to drive through. Let's take a second, breathe, think this out a little bit, because holy shit. Alright. Yeah, no. I got into a kind of heavy band of the storm. It looks like it should be over kind of soon. Holy shit. More storms are still popping up around the area to the west. Yeah, no. I won't lie, dude. I bit off more than I could chew with this. I didn't think I'd rain this bad already, mainly. We're good. Alright, we can sit back and have a little watch the light show together. Oh my god. Yeah, no. See, my idea was to get close to the river to try and film like I did on that storm that I had on March 3rd. Got the lightning shots out on the water. But those storms I don't think were as heavy, like rain-wise, as this. A lot of these lightning strikes are probably embedded. Woo! Damn, that was a bright flash. Giant blob of wind occurring under that storm. That is definitely a downburst. Oh, wow. Well, I would have been in store for a downburst if I got the Green Cove. Call that a blessing or a curse, depending. Depending on how you look at it, I guess. Would have made for good content. Don't know how much it would have done for my safety, kind of like this. I just realized the mic hasn't been on. That kind of sucks. Yeah. Got myself into a bit of a sticky situation here. Bit off a little more than I could chew. Like, thank God I'm still just kind of on, oh my god, kind of on the edge of the storm still. Let's check on the radar. If I keep heading north like I was, I should get into a lighter pocket of rain. So, that's the plan. I can see the way, like the water is just like moving in waves across the road. Alright, here we go. Might be a little heavy for a second, but it should lighten up. Yeah, definitely going to drive this one a bit below the speed limit. Oh my god, dude. I had no idea this was going to happen tonight. I thought we had that storm earlier that was, while it was cool, what happened with the outflow boundary and everything, admittedly kind of underwhelming compared to the past few days. I did not think this was going to happen. Did not think we were going to get a giant thunderstorm. Like, bigger than last night's. Alright. Things are getting lighter. After finally getting out of the heavy rain, you think I'd take this opportunity to go straight home, right? Well, not exactly. While I continued on my path home, I noticed that the rain was once again starting to lighten up over our area. When I was only around 5 minutes from home, I noticed I was able to get access to a road I usually can't during the day due to construction. My plan was to use this road to try and get lightning strikes off of the now weakening storm over the St. Johns River. At the same time this was happening, the focus of strong storms began to shift directly to our south and southwest, but we'll cover that in a bit. Surprisingly, this gamble I made in regards to the road actually paid off with some good lightning shots. Woo! Yeah, that was pretty, wasn't it? Yeah. Kind of want to stay here for a minute. Let's see how this does us. Oof. More heavy rain coming in. Okay, where did this even come from, dude? Huh. It's almost like a new cell is redeveloping right over. Like, right fucking over us. This is just kind of insanity tonight. Alright. I don't even know, dude. This is ridiculous. I don't know if I was able to see the bolt there. Like, even with my eyes, it was kind of hard. I think I might have saw, like, a really narrow column, but that was just a really bright flash. That's crazy. And there's still lightning coming from, like, behind me. Like, I see flashes from the storm over in Lottie. Which, honestly, what I might do, if it ends up, like, I'm still seeing a lot of flashes on the way home, I might pull up towards Lake Asbury and see if I could get some shots down there. Not get out of the car or anything. This is not a get out of the car kind of storm. I'm staying in. You know, I'm not gonna lie. In terms of lightning, might be better to go look at the storms down to our west and to the southwest. Can't stop now, so let's get moving. While I was going to attempt to photograph lightning from the newly developed storm to our southwest, the rainfall continued to pick up as I got closer to home. Now, kind of like I was saying earlier, if it's going to keep raining this hard, I might not really be able to see too much. Well, I say that, but I was able to get some strikes a few minutes ago. You know what, dude? It's starting to pick up again. I'm just going to go home. I already feel like I've probably been out longer than I should be. By the time I got home, I was understandably pretty tired. I intended to call it quits for the night, but the lightning itself refused to quit. Though I wasn't going to go back out and chase because I saw the flood advisory that got issued and decided to stay at home. So instead, I stuck the camera out back and managed to get a few more lucky lightning shots. Even when I wasn't seeing lightning strikes themselves, the near constant intra-cloud flashes were still going strong even 2 hours after the storm started. Bro, I've been trying to give the camera a rest and trying to relax. They issued a flood advisory and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going back out. The roads were bad. And I was just going to try and import the files over my computer. But nope. These storms just don't quit. I was seeing strikes coming from the south. And, you know, I don't usually have good angles on that. But I'm going to try. And, oh my god. This is going to be a long-ass video. Like, even cutting out a lot of the fluff, this is going to be a pretty long video, I think. That thunder. We've just been getting slammed for like 2 hours straight, dude. This is ridiculous. You know, if the roads weren't flooded, I would probably go out to that dirt road that I did earlier to watch this, but I'm not risking it, dude. It's too much. And again, a lot of the strikes are still embedded, so it is kind of hard to see them. I can hear where they're coming from. And I hope it's getting some of that lightning. I'm going to move it over here. Yeah. I hate it, dude. I hate that this storm keeps going. As crazy as it sounds, considering how much I love storm chasing, but it's like, it's tempting me to go back out and to get out on one of the roads and just point my car to south like I was doing earlier, but like, I really shouldn't have flooded the roads. This is ridiculous. I didn't Not only was I not expecting a storm, I definitely wasn't expecting 2 hours of storms. See, now it's starting to show more lightning to the west again, like directly to the west. This just does not end. Woo, yeah! Oh my god. It's right next to it. Woo, there we go. That was nice. I can't believe these storms are still going, dude. It's almost midnight. And, like, he's been cranking away since about 9. I don't know if I'm going to see another night like this year, so really going to savor this, because, like, even though it was a little difficult earlier with the storm chase, that was my fault. Really should have left earlier if I wanted to do that. Again, I wasn't expecting it to go. I did, but oh well. You live and you learn, right? Lesson learned for next time. Be more fucking proactive if you're going to chase storms. Might leave the camera for a few more minutes because obviously I'm still getting some pretty good flashes, but I'm starting to notice more of the ground flashes are happening to the right, like way behind the tree line, that I'm not going to be able to see if those are strikes. I'm trying to see if I can get any more like cloud to cloud bolts like I was seeing a bit ago. Honestly, I'm just getting kind of tired. I've been up since like 5:30 this morning. It's almost midnight, so I'm trying to get to bed. But also got to get the videos transferred over to the computer. Woo! Wow. By midnight, the last of the thunderstorms began to drift back to the west into Bradford County before dissipating around 1 a.m. In total, 17 special weather statements were issued on June 25th, with a singular severe thunderstorm warning occurring, which was the one that rode along the St. Johns River towards 10 p.m. In addition to that, 4 flood advisories were issued, primarily affecting Duval, Clay, St. Johns, Bradford, and Alachua counties. Rainfall totals across our viewing area ranged anywhere from 1 to 4 inches, with hotspots occurring along the St. Johns River in southwestern Clay County. Thankfully, there were no reports of severe weather or any damage around our forecast area. June 25th was another intense day of thunderstorms, one that I was not expecting to have. Nighttime thunderstorms are my favorite, as it's the easiest to see lightning that way. And despite the difficulties I experienced while trying to chase that night, it was still a worthwhile and enjoyable experience. Thank you all for watching this episode of First Coast Storm Tracking. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video or if you learned something new. It really helps this channel grow and shows us that y'all support what we do. I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you on the next chase.